All right. Let's get this out of the way first. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on Tailboard Talks Firefighter podcast are solely those of the speakers, guests, and host, and do not in any way represent the thoughts or views or opinions of any other employer, partnership, or sponsor. The material and information in this podcast is for general information purposes only and should be used at the listener's discretion.
I'm just remembering that it's recording from the computer
Thank
and
you.
not turning it on.
Good.
But I have
Welcome
to have it
back,
to my mouth.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tailboard Talks Firefighter podcast. Chris and Angie here, and we're outside again because the weather has broken here in Chicagoland, and we got a few hours without rain.
Now it's just warm and super cloudy and depressing, so
But
I'll
it's
take
warm.
it. I know, I'll take it.
It's warm.
I'll take it.
So welcome back. You'll hear the ambient sounds of Chicagoland as we record this episode. How was your week, Angie?
Northwest suburbs.
Aw, Chicagoland. Did you know that there's somebody at work who's lived in Chicagoland the entire time, and then when their relatives came in town, they're like, when do we get to go to Chicagoland? And they're like, well, you're in it. Like, it's just the
You're
area
right here.
surrounding. And they're like, oh, we thought it was like Disney World. Like, Chicagoland is like a...
gosh.
How was your week, Ange?
Week was...
Let's cut to the chase. You made a major difference in your internet footprint this week.
I did.
All
I
right.
did change my internet footprint. Actually, a lot of it has to do with, as people saw that we had interviewed Relentless Rejects, Preston Lyons, on his recent article with Firefighter Nation regarding balancing your legacy through firefighting, marriage, and relationships. And I think I've been someone who struggles a lot with identity and having to be somebody. And so I think social media now is a heavy hitter on that for me mentally, and it probably is for a lot of people. I think that Instagram specifically has changed a lot, like from what it used to be to now what people use it for. I mean, probably social media in general.
Do you remember when Instagram was for pictures?
Yes, and that's
like
exactly
solely pictures.
Yeah, like
And
Take Back Thursday or like TBT, and it's like.
And remember all the filters?
Yes,
They're still there
the crappy
somewhere.
filters.
Not crappy.
They were. I mean, they
better
were
than my
pretty
phone.
crappy.
But all those filters are still there. You just got to dig for them. But they're still there.
I know. But it's changed a lot, and I think that it's changed us as humans, and you know, I want to say like the dopamine stuff, but like, you know, that's everywhere. Everyone reads about that and stuff. But I had to like kind of, I really. You know me with my rabbit holing, like when I start thinking of certain things. And so I had to like really dive deep this last actually week or so, which I was thinking about this before, but then his article and then talking to him really kind of made me go a lot deeper with that. Okay. And so understanding like why do I feel like I need to be somebody, right? So like why why is that so important, or what does it mean? Like what does it mean? And like I had to really think about like what kind of legacy do I really want to like follow or leave behind, and is it really with 1,000 strangers that I don't know, or is it really more so like the people who are closer to me, or like the community that I'm serving, or like my coworkers I'm with, or like what's really like important to me, and disconnecting my like identity from you know, like getting applause for everything that I do, because I don't need that. Like accepting that I don't need to be somebody, right? Like I don't need to be somebody. I don't need.
They'll definitely hear that.
Wow, I do need a motorcycle.
That guy's that's a car.
That was a car?
Garbage ass car.
Oh, fart can. With those imports.
That guy's got.
I used to be into
that.
That
guy needs big pants for his big wiener. Go on.
So anyway, you know, like I was just kind of, I think I'm just done. Like I think one of my biggest fears too is, and this is so dumb, so a long time, like when I tell you this had to be at least 5 years ago.
Listen, I have 20% on my computer battery. I need you to
shoot, okay.
One thought.
All right, sorry. I know, I'm so bad at that.
That's who you are.
I know, it's sad. That's why I can't be
anybody. You got rid of your Instagram.
I did.
Okay.
Long story short, I got rid of my Instagram, dealing with like being okay with being forgotten, like just being okay with like not being somebody. Why are you laughing at me? You're ruining this whole episode.
You're saying these very profound, deep statements, just like flipping, like, I guess I'm okay being forgotten now.
It's free.
Well, it's all over.
It's free.
I guess I'll just fade into the ether and people will just stop muttering my name once in a while.
Well, you know,
anyways,
I mean,
so you deleted it?
I deleted it.
Which
I'm
I'm envious of.
shifting my legacy. That's what I decided.
Okay.
I'm shifting my legacy, and I think that being present is going to make me more powerful than being remembered. So
Definitely.
So that's just kind of, where I'm at with that right now. I'm fine with being the mystery person, in like tailboard talks or like, like I rather, post something, know that it helps somebody, even if they don't know who I am. And like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right.
So mystery woman.
Congratulations. Then you have to stop when people message us. You got to stop saying, "This is Angie, by the way."
Well, I don't want to say anything and people think it's you.
Way more entertaining if you didn't, because most of the time you're like, "Yeah, girl, I got the same underwear."
I'll
this
make
is
a
Angie,
poll.
by the way.
I'll make a poll. Guess who it is?
Yeah.
Is this Chris or is this Angie?
Well, I'm proud of you. That's something
you.
I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I'm still just too needy, and
you need all this validation.
I know. I have been successful in changing a lot of the why when I want to post.
Yeah.
Like, now it's either a pretty gross reason for, like, I should say gross, like, hey, I want to promote Rescue and CBD, or I want to promote Fourth Frontier is another one that I don't really use anymore. Frontline, or I want to reach out to this bike sponsor or something like that, or like my friends throw a gravel race, I want to promote that. Kind of validation in that manner. The other part is, like, I posted a lot more of Nathan and Sawyer and stuff we're doing together, and Katie, and like trips we're taking.
Yeah.
Because that's almost like a living journal, more or less, you know.
Do you remember Zanga?
Now that you say it, I know the word, but I don't know what it is.
It was like a blogging. It was like blogging, but you could put, photos on your post. Like, I kind of miss that thing.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that.
I bet we're going full circle. I bet we'll be back to that in no time.
I hope
dumb
so.
phones are a thing. Flip
yeah.
phones are coming back. I bet blogs are coming back.
We had the 90s first.
Well, yeah, it only happens once every 100 years. So.
Well, whatever. But no, I think that it's good, and I think that.
So what's your goals then? But you're still engaged in the Tailboard Talks Instagram.
Right, and I think honestly that was the biggest pullback for me too, because I almost kept making excuses. Like, I was like, how am I supposed? Because my personal page, I had not like a lot, but I had a pretty decent amount of followers, and so I thought that I'm like, how can I get rid of this and still be able to pull in something that would impact people on Tailboard Talks. So I thought I was like, I can't delete it. Like, there's no way I can delete this, because I have so much like followers here that could potentially bring them to the Tailboard Talks page. But at the end of the day, I think that my goals here really with Tailboard Talks is I want it, and it was something you and me spoke about way earlier, was I want things to become what they are organically. I don't want it to be like, if we go forever with 700 followers, like, I'm cool with that, because it doesn't need to be something where we get 50K followers or something, because that's not my purpose. Like, my purpose isn't to get like these.
This isn't our retirement plan.
Right. No, this is something that we do because we sometimes enjoy time together. we get different perspectives. It's impactful for both you and me. I think that since we started, like, I've learned so much just in general, just about myself, about the fire service, and a lot of stuff that we talk about also plays a role in my own personal life. And so it's helped me a lot. I'm changed since we started doing this in a positive way.
Change back. Keep changing then, because the arguments you and I have are great.
They are great. I mean, I'll keep a little bit of that, but we'll a little feisty.
Yeah.
But no, my goal is to be more impactful instead of popular. Like, I'm cool with it.
Well, it's I'm sure if you look through the friends list of your thousands of followers on the personal page you had, more than 3/4 of them, you're like, I don't remember that person at all. Like, I've never talked to that person since I saw they followed me. And so the handful of people that engage, whatever is like the 5% that engage, are the ones that are gonna follow you no matter what.
Exactly.
And because they're bought into you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not just because you did a hard-hitting workout.
Right. Well, and exactly. And that was a part of it too. I mean, social comparison.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, I think that even on the, fire side, I think about, Brandon Serio.
Okay.
And I apologize, dude, if I'm saying your name wrong, or whatever. I talked to him, right? And he was like, we did this. He did like a firefighter challenge, with a complex. And he was like, man, these are too easy. And I'm like, no, dude, like, you're just following people who are like very much the same. Like, that's why you think it's so easy. But
you follow a bunch of hitters that are just
right. So like, if
doing
you're
thing.
Just like exposed to that, like anybody else, like if if a girl is exposed to a bunch of fitness influencers, or a guy is exposed to, we'll say a firefighter who's not in shape is exposed to a bunch of heavy workout people who are whatever, it takes a toll on you. You feel inadequate. You feel like you're not doing enough, and if you're not doing that much, and you're not worth anything, and and so I think that it takes a certain section or algorithm of people, and it throws it in your face, and you don't actually get the whole picture.
Definitely.
And then you're exposed to opinions that you don't care about, or that you would not care about if you didn't know them, or comments or whatever. It's unhealthy, and it's not realistic. And so my thing is, I would like that our podcast is authentic and realistic. I think that we put out more realistic
Katie just cringed right now
things.
when you said that, just so you know.
Why?
Whenever
Oh no, why?
Whenever anybody says authentic, or I'm being my authentic self,
they're being the most non-authentic self.
It's just such a, like,
I'm authentic.
It's used as like a way to get around, or away with being a jerk.
Oh, like, so when people are like, no offense, but, and then
or
it's totally offensive.
People either love me or they hate me, and that's just the way I am. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be. Can you just like be a human?
Well,
and,
that's certainly not my
intention.
That's
I know, it's just a fun word. Another thing about that challenge you did, I had great exception. I took great exception with the video you put up. Mm-hmm. Edit it down. I will not watch more than 2 seconds of your setup.
I know. I saw it, and I was like, damn, I should have kind of like cut that setup up or off. But
it was the longest setup.
I know. I realized it afterwards. I just was like, whatever.
I still don't know what the challenge is, because I never watched the video because it was too long of a setup. That's fine. But I'm sure you did great.
Regardless,
you got huge props from Brandon in the message, so I'm sure you did a great job. But I was watching. I was like, well, I just never need to know what this is now.
Yeah, it was impressive, some of the people who did do it. I mean, there was guys who were doing it with 225 on the bar.
I don't know what they did, but let's get to your circle, right? You're shrinking your circle down then.
Yeah, absolutely.
From 7,000 strangers.
Oh, God, not that much.
How many people did you have on your personal page?
That's why I said it wasn't a lot. It was like, I think I had maybe 3,000 followers or something around there. It was nothing. It's like literally nothing.
But then we've had conversations. This kind of goes into a point we want to talk about today. In the past, however months we've been hanging out.
Yeah.
You've had some situations where you're like, I'm kind of frustrated because I expected more from this individual. Like, I was doing this, and they knew I was having a hard time with that, or they knew I was working on this project, and they knew I was trying to do this, and they never reached out. And I kind of mentioned it to them. But I expected more from that person.
I expected more support from the people that I was friends with. Yeah. Absolutely. Like,
because you put out a lot, and so you expect the same in return.
Right, and it just makes you disappointed.
It goes back and forth. You just kind of feed each other back and forth, and it's always even, right? And we had to talk about, like, well, we need to look at who you're expecting things from, and if that's appropriate or not.
Right.
And then also, when we get frustrated at other people's actions, like, is it because what they're doing is actually bad, or is it just not what you like?
Right.
And that was a big conversation that you can dance around the specifics, but why don't you get into a little bit of how that stuff makes you feel, and kind of what we talked about in the meantime.
I think that, like, I think me as a person, I'm just a very, I think I'm a very supportive and I like to root my friends on and stuff regardless of what they're doing. Yeah. And I think that I have a tendency to impose my own values or things like that on other people, expecting that they have the same values or support or morals or anything else. And so
and not saying that yours are 100% right.
No, they're just mine. And so, like, if I was like, I would always go, okay, well, like, if that person was doing something that I really supported, like, I would be like reposting their stuff, and like I would be, supporting them and doing all this, to help them out with their new podcasts and stuff like that. And I wasn't getting that. And so I took that personally, probably. And I took it like I wasn't being supported. However, that just may not be the way those people support me. So at the end of the day, it made me feel like I was not supported. It made me feel like maybe they didn't like me. Yeah. Maybe it was like a fake friendship. Maybe I was just disappointed. It wasn't like my expectations of those people. So that's kind of how that ended up making me feel. Now I know, looking back at in that time when we were talking, that it may not be, that's not maybe the case, right? It's not that they don't support me or they don't It's just they show things maybe differently.
Well, they show a couple of things. They show things differently for sure, right? Like, not everyone values your love language like you do.
Right, exactly.
Right? The other part is it's purely an exposure issue of, like, when we're starting up as a partnership in this thing, we're consumed by it, right?
Right.
But if you think about any random friend you see on Instagram, like, how much specifically of that person have you seen in the past 4 months?
Oh, right.
And you're like, I don't know, a couple. Mm-hmm. But they could be entrenched in something they've been putting out every day,
right,
but
exactly,
you just don't see
exactly.
it. So it's exposure and a recency issue. But also we need to start looking at, like...
That lady's perfume smelled so good. Okay, sorry, go on.
She has, like, costume makeup on.
I know, but she smells really good.
Like she came from Cats or something.
Sorry, go on. I totally stopped you there.
I think she just got her makeup on in, like, really low light, and she got outside. She's like, what the fuck?
I've done that before. And I was like, oh, my God.
Anyways, some of the exceptions you took were, like, people from other departments or people in the higher rank structure who you thought would care.
Right.
But didn't say anything, right?
Right.
And so that grew us into a bigger conversation of, like, my opinion is that morale and support comes from the middle all the time. Mm-hmm. It can be, like, wanted from the top, and it can be complained about at the bottom.
Yep.
Or even wanted from the bottom, but it always comes from the middle, especially on shift. Off shift is a little different. Like, you can have groups of people in every single generational group that get together and they have great morale individually, right? But in the department structure on shift, it always comes from the middle. If you look more than 2 levels above you and expect any sort of support emotionally, you're always going to be let down. Like, that's not their job, that's not their interest, that's not what they're there for. They don't see you enough to care, and they don't know enough about you to want to get involved. Like, it's just not their game.
Right, no, for sure.
So that means that the people directly around you and the people directly above you are the only ones that can make you feel better about anything.
Right, right.
Because they're the most heavily engaged in the issues and your problems and you solving them. And so it's difficult because as you go through your career, you're going to be with people now that get promoted. And somehow or some way, you're going to be at a lieutenant and they're going to be at a chief level. And you're going to be like, well, what the heck? Like, this was my drinking buddy back in the day, and we went to the academy together, and then we went to advanced together, and now this thing's happening in my life, and he doesn't check in with me. Well, that's not... He's separate. You know that person,
right.
But he's separate from you.
Right.
He's not your support system anymore. And that's a tough one to swallow, especially if you know somebody in the beginning, but the morale and the support always comes from the middle. Middle management is going to make or break that thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a call to action for the middle managers, the lieutenants or the captains, whoever's in the middle, the senior pipemen, the drivers. You have to grow into that position that you take over, but then you have to develop inside of that position to be the ones that you needed 5 years ago.
Right.
So in our department, we have a large number of people coming in and a large number of people moving up. And those people who are moving up have to take on that role now of providing what they didn't have to the people coming in. And if you don't do that, that's when you start blaming 2 levels above you for not having your back.
Yeah.
When they shouldn't.
Okay.
So it's a long roundabout way of saying, like, don't expect it because it's not coming. Create your own around you.
So, I mean, I know when you talk about this, like, I understand it, and it still just blows my mind. Like, only because, you know, when you start, like, when you start Fire Academy or you start, like, any type of, like, classes, like, in, you know, fire science, when you start getting in and they all talk about the brotherhood and how it's supposed to be like this and all that stuff. And so I haven't been, obviously, I'm on a department that's a lot smaller than yours. I'm on a department that, and I don't know how your department is, how your guys are, even through the years you've been on there for a really long time. And, like, so I don't know if...
Because I'm really old, yeah.
Are you guys... You know, I decided I'm not going to call you old anymore.
Thanks.
I decided that...
You're still short.
Thanks. Did you guys, like, do a lot of family stuff together outside of that? Or is your department... So you guys were always kind of, like, disconnected?
No, it's just the social structure changes.
Okay.
Guys move up and out, other ones come in. That group that was always together retires. New ones don't.
But I feel like that is just not all departments. I don't feel like all departments are like that because I think, too, you have to...
But more than you think.
Maybe, if I looked probably at your department, more than I think,
If I looked at your department and just the things that you put up on social media with your crew or, like, holiday parties or whatever.
Yeah.
We see that and we're like, geez, these guys get, like, 20, 30 people out to every single thing they do. But then talking to you, it's like, no, that's like once a year.
Oh yeah,
that
it's
happens.
just it is.
Yeah,
really
so
once
it's
a year,
always
but,
grass is always greener.
but I will say, like, things used to be different. Like, when I first started, when I was part time and I wasn't full time, like, they used to all after shift they go to if it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I would always get invited. They would go to church, which was actually the bar on
yeah.
the tavern.
Yeah.
Like, they would go there.
Yeah.
And so that stuff. Now I never went, okay, because it was a boundary thing for me
Yeah.
at the time, and I was part-time. I didn't feel comfortable. I just wanted to, like, stay in my lane,
call.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it was just one of those things. And
But what guy was
that
initiating
stuff has
that?
stopped.
But who was initiating that? Is that person
I'll
a
be
chief or
honest,
retired now?
No.
Are they still around?
Yes.
Why aren't they still doing it?
I don't know.
Then
And that's
somebody's
what
gotta
I
take
want to
their
figure
place.
out. I know, that's what I'm saying but I think this comes back to what you're saying is the middle guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
the middle guys can do this. Now, there is somebody on my department who does invite, like, we do something, like, we played pickleball sometimes over at Pickle House. Like, we do that stuff that I just wish it was more frequent. However,
Man, what a
I do
letdown,
know.
though, if you're walking in that place expecting pickles.
Oh, I know.
If
I
it's
know,
spelled
right?
H-A-U-S too, you're like, this is going to be awesome.
I know,
And you walk in there with Nathan, who's like, I want pickles. And you walk in, he's like, what? Anyways.
This isn't a pickle.
Yeah, you still love it. You smack the crap out
sure
of
you
something,
would,
but
but-
go on.
But I do think, like, I agree and I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also feel like,
So at that point, it's got to be someone who's intrinsically motivated to do that.
yeah.
And they will keep offering it regardless of how many people show up. And it's like the drip approach.
Yeah.
Same thing with fitness. Like, you can't tell somebody you have to work out next Wednesday because I'm going to be there
Yeah.
and my time is valuable. You have to tell them, I'll be there every Wednesday. And when you're ready, let's rock and roll. And then when they show up, it's as much enthusiasm as if they took you up on the first time.
Yeah,
But that's
true.
a hard thing to do.
It is hard.
But that's when, like, you get with your group of friends and then you all agree that's important. And so let's just schedule it out once a month
Right.
to do something. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do something now where we have union general meetings every quarter, right? But there's an e-board meeting every single month. So on the 2 months between the general meetings, it's always on the same day, like the second Tuesday of the month or whatever. They have an e-board meeting at night. Well, I said, well, what if every single meeting day, so once a month, we just have an informal breakfast over here at this pancake place? And it just, every time you see an e-board meeting or a general meeting, you know that there's going to be an 8 o'clock breakfast at the pancake place. And we'll just show up, and there's not a union meeting, it's not business being done. There's gossip and there's hanging out, but that's just another way to get together. Unless somebody else picks that up with me, I'm going to be on shift for half those days, and it's going to die off, right? So I need like 2, 3, 4 people to think that's a good idea, to the point where they're willing to go
Right.
when nobody else is going and
Right.
sit there and have pancakes. Tough thing to do. But that's what those guys did. 2 of them went out drinking, 2 of them went to church, and then another couple guys 4 months later said, like, I'll go hang out with you. And then over the course of years, it grew into
Right.
an actual thing.
Right, yeah.
But it's tough to do.
Yeah.
But it comes from the middle.
It does come
Like,
from
it's
the
got to
middle.
come from the
And I
middle.
am learning that now, I think. We talked, when we did have this conversation, it was probably, a month? I don't know, maybe a month or 2 ago.
It was literally like 4 days ago, yeah.
No, it wasn't. I'm like, it was a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And that's, again, like I said, I'm learning things.
Yeah.
Having this podcast, having you as a friend, and so when we talk these things out, right? Because usually it's a bunch of stuff floating in my head, and then we just we sit there and we talk it out.
comes
but
out
it makes
inappropriately.
Sense. Yeah, like inabruptly.
Yeah.
But it teaches me that stuff, and I think that it has made me a better coworker and more open, like minded to like why certain things are the way they are, and so.
Now, mind you, I have all this advice. It's still not happening in my department. So you can know the roadmap and the way to do it and have all the tools, and then it might just come a day you're like, I'm going home. Like, maybe I just want to hang out with the dogs today and go home and couch ride. I don't want to put in the extra effort to do that, and that's fine too. So that's where that group comes in, or you just realize, like, you know what? Maybe it's okay if we just are good on shift and we have a good relationship, and then we have our holiday party.
Yeah, and it doesn't
And
have to be anything more.
Don't force it to being something more.
Right.
It kind of goes back to the organic
Even
beginning
though
of
I
this
would
thing.
love it so much.
Yeah.
I would love it, but I'll be happy with whatever it becomes.
Yeah, it's not bad that you get to go home and spend time with, the dogs and Ben. That's not a bad thing.
No,
or
it's
have more
not.
time to work out, or
I know.
whatever.
Yep.
And then you just take advantage of the good times. If somebody's
For
ready to
sure.
rock and roll, then hit it.
Yep.
And then you have a great time, and it's a great thing.
Yep.
So it's tough, man. It's
It
tough.
is tough.
But it'll be different 10 years from now, 15 years from now. There's also things that we aren't involved with that people get together with. There's a large contingent of guys who do gaming, and they get together like twice a week online and game.
I know.
Like, I remember 15 of them.
That's like Ben. Ben's a big gamer. We got a couple big gamers at our department. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, should I get into gaming?
So just because it's not happening at the bar or
Yeah, it could happen
Pancake
somewhere
House.
else, right?
It's happening. Yeah, we're just not. Maybe it's just not our thing. You know.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It is okay. Any other ramblings you'd like to get off your head?
You got some great glasses on your head.
Thank you. They are from Frontline Optics.
Thanks for remembering.
Frontline Optics, guys. You can use the code TAILBOARD, get 15% off. I am rocking the Pomonas.
Yep, the Commander.
The
version
Commanders,
of the
which is
Pomonas.
the gold ones. I am going to also get some purple ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for those. They're called the Valors.
And you said I should get the
The Celtics.
Or the Celtics.
Or Celtics, because we really aren't sure how
I
it's
think
pronounced.
it's Celtic because I think it's a Celtic cross but the basketball team's the Celtics.
I know, that's why I'm confused on how you pronounce it.
But you also say, like we said, you say mozzarella like a psycho.
Mozzarella.
God. bless it,
Anyways,
dude. That's
also,
worse than authentic.
Here I go, almost saying Frontline. Freaking hello, Rescue One CBD, you guys.
Yeah.
They are coming out with a new little thingy majig.
You can say it. We already talked about it.
I know, but I wasn't sure. Okay, so basically they're like non-zins.
Yeah.
They are. I'll call them tailboard pillows.
Tailboard pillows?
Yeah.
I was going to say tailboard mints, but yeah, I like it.
But I do like
pillows,
I like the mints too. But basically they have, I'm not going to try to name every single thing in there, but it is a combination of CBG, right?
CBG, yeah.
Some nootropics. Am I saying that right?
Nootropics.
Nootropics.
Alpha something?
Alpha something that makes you super focused. I know they're in the midst of getting a right compound. I don't even know how to.
Okay.
You know,
what are you talking about?
What the right percentages of things.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
So this is way more than... So the average nicotine pouch, from my understanding, is nicotine and cellulose.
Right.
This is beyond that.
Yeah, and it's great.
So right now, we just had a phone call with John. We're not going to spill too much of the inside baseball, but essentially it's got some of the key compounds that like some other very, very popular, famous, established nootropic brands use.
Right.
As well as some caffeine, as well as some CBG.
Yep.
And then,
Not CBD.
Yeah, but that's also coming. CBD pillows.
Shh. It's a secret.
So, massive. Angie and I got a sample. I like what it's all about.
Yeah.
So that's going to be massive.
Yeah, it is.
Coming out in a few months.
Buy me a coffee button. Don't forget to do that. Again, that's going to go towards stuff that Chris and I do in the future, places that we go, whether it's conferences, us going to departments next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or just
coffee.
Fingers, or just coffee.
We're both
for
drinking
us
coffee
to do
right
this.
now, and you guys can buy that for us so we can be energetic. And
am I missing anything else?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
If you did, we'll think about it next time.
All right.
All right, say the tagline.
Stay resilient.
Jeez,
I don't know. Man, we got to really come up with something.
Yeah.
What's a better one?
Better luck next time.
Better luck next time.